I do have an admission on this video. Another day and another vlog down. Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to episode 10 of Vlogdown. That's right, we are now in double digits. So of course in my last video I spoke about videos that I'd made that I thought would do really well but didn't. So to balance that out, in this video I'm talking about the videos that I've made which I didn't really expect to do that much, but in the end they ended up being really popular. Just a quick one on my last video. Firstly, thank you so much for your messages of support. It is greatly appreciated. The engagement I've had on that video so far has been very pleasing, so thank you for that. I think some of you had the impression that I approached my last video with quite a negative attitude, or a bit of a down attitude, kind of thinking, oh, these videos didn't do so well. That wasn't really the case, guys, but thank you for your concern. I just wanted to make that video just to highlight how, as a creator, sometimes you can make things which you think will do well, but for whatever reason they don't. I'm not really sad about those videos not doing well. That's just part of the creative process. Not everything I make is going to be successful. So for me, it's all about experiences, and it is a learning curve. And what I've learned from that, as I said towards the end of my last video, is that supercar content isn't really something that I myself should really focus on. But thank you for your messages of support. They were greatly appreciated. Anyway, that was back in the past. This is the now. So let's get on to the positive bits, the videos that I've made which I didn't quite expect to do well, but did. So again, I've picked 3 videos. I could have picked more, to be honest, but to try and keep this video short-ish, maybe not, but to try and keep it as short as I possibly can, I've just highlighted 3 videos that I wasn't expecting to do well, but they did. So let's kick things off with actually my highest viewed video on my channel. It is my review of the Ford Kuga ST line, which I filmed back in, I have to be honest, it was quite a long time ago. So let's get the video up and then I can show you a bit of B-roll from that video. And if you are interested in the Ford Kuga ST line, please do check that video out, although it is the previous generation of the Ford Kuga, but it's the facelift of the previous generation. Just a quick one, I do have the cats in here today because Patsy's gone for a nap and I didn't want to leave the cats by themselves because they do cry out a little bit. So Ray's just walked past that camera. Ray, come down here. Come on, come and get straight. Yes, meow indeed. Are you going to help me film? Or are you going to disrupt me? Meow. So, Ford Kuga ST line. Why is it not coming up? Here we go. So I filmed this video back in, when was it? It was quite a long time ago. Apologies that I've got my back towards you, but I need to look at my laptop, of course. So I filmed this in 2017, if you prefer. And at present, it has done really, really well. It has a grand total of 121,849 views, which is amazing. I wasn't really expecting those kind of numbers for this car. Yes, it is an SUV, but in my eyes, the Ford Kuga isn't that popular compared to its competition. I don't see many on the road, and by the time I reviewed this, I think this particular model had been out for quite some time. But yeah, it's done really well. I did get some negative feedback on it. Some people wanted to, some people criticised the way how I spoke about certain elements. But whenever you're making a review or whenever you're expressing an opinion on something, of course there will be people who want to challenge that opinion, which is fine. I think that's fine so long as it can open up a healthy debate. Of course, on the internet, people can be quite narrow-minded, let's say, but I don't want to focus on that in this video. It's all about the good stuff. So yeah, this video did really well. Looking back at it, it's not my finest work, but to be fair, you know, that is quite critical on myself because this was filmed quite a long time ago. I didn't have the same filming equipment that I do now. So I think in the circumstances back then, I did pretty well actually. And this was a nightmare to film because, as you can see, it is a black car and I filmed it on a very sunny day. So trying to get the right angles was a nightmare because sometimes the lighting was either really too bright or really too dark. And I think this was the first car that highlighted to me that black cars are just a nightmare to film with. I don't think I had any black cars up until this point. Black cars aren't so bad when you're filming in overcast conditions, but I'm sure fellow YouTubers will agree that if you're filming a black car in sunny conditions, then it is just an absolute faff. Same goes for white cars. White cars can be quite challenging to film when it's sunny because it just gets overexposed and you lose quite a few details of the car. But yeah, Ford Kuga ST line review did really well. I think there's two reasons why this video did well. The first of which were that the key words I used in the tags were quite specific, and I'm not going to get too bogged down in SEO. That's search engine optimization, because that's quite a geeky thing to speak about. But sometimes when you want to be found on the internet, whether you're doing Instagram posts or whether you do something similar to me, when you're using keywords, sometimes it's better to use quite specific niche keywords. They're actually called, what's the phrase? It's long-tailed keywords. And again, I won't get too geeky, but it's keywords that are quite specific. So instead of just Ford Kuga, it could be something like 2017 Ford Kuga ST line. So it's quite a long keyword, but because it's more specific, it can actually be more effective, if that makes sense. And the keywords I used in this video, I have to say, are pretty good. So I think that's one reason why this video did well. The second reason is because I think this was shared on a forum at some point, and of course that helped to spread the word a little bit. And I think that's when the numbers really started to grow. When this video was first published, from memory, we're going back quite some time now, I don't think it actually did that well. This was quite a slow burner. And then over time, it's just crept up bit by bit. Let's get rid of that. So, actually, if I go into the analytics, I know I didn't really cover the analytics in my last video, but it didn't really seem worth it because the videos didn't really have many views. That's why they were highlighted in the first place. So if I go to since uploaded, so there was quite a large spike on the 30th of June, which was a few days after it was published. And as you can see, I'll put a clip in off my actual computer screen so you can see what I'm looking at. As you can see, it's quite a good, it's done quite well. It spiked again at the start of 2019, which is interesting. That may have been when it was picked up by the forum. I'm not too sure. So how long have I been speaking for? Okay, 9 minutes. Okay, probably good time I move on to the next video. So my next video is actually another Ford, believe it or not. Generally, my Ford content does quite well. I've got a good relationship with the brand, which is good. And it's fantastic that I'm able to go back to Ford and say, I did a video with your car and it's done X amount of views. But the reason why I've highlighted this Ford is, it wasn't a Ford model I was expecting to get a lot of attention. But let me just stop waffling on. So, Ford Mondeo. Let me just load that video up. So, around the same, actually, funnily enough, this was around the same sort of time that I had the Ford Kuga. So the Mondeo was actually the first Ford I had from Ford. I don't know why I had to elaborate that. Of course, it was from Ford. It's a Ford, but it's the first car I had, and I remember one of the representatives at Ford. They had seen what I had done with the Vauxhall Insignia, which I think at the time was on about 14,000 views, and they said, okay, we're going to give you this Mondeo. We want your video to do better than the Insignia. I think I was set a target for 20,000 views for this video, which at the time was quite a big target for me. I thought, I don't think I can do this, particularly as the Insignia video had done well, but it was a slow burner, so it done well over a period of time. So I was frightened that Ford was expecting this 20,000 to come quite quickly. And bearing in mind, the Ford Mondeo is a car that doesn't really get bought anymore, and there's many reports saying that it's going to be killed off, although I'm yet to see any actual evidence of that. As far as I'm aware, the car is still in production. So when I had the Ford Mondeo, I really didn't think it would get that many views, but let me actually tell you how many views it has. So this is on, at present, 69,864 views, which of course isn't as high as the Kuga, it's about half, but this was a car I really wasn't expecting. It's not very often you see a brand new Ford Mondeo on the road, let alone back in 2017. Again, the Ford Mondeo isn't really a car that gets bought. I think a large reason for that is because the Vauxhall Insignia is actually a very good car. In fact, back in 2011, I think it actually, I'm pretty sure it's 2011, it sold more units compared to the equivalent 3 Series and C-Class. I think it was the 3 Series and C-Class, but either way, it did better than its German competition, which I think speaks volumes. And the Insignia has actually been the best-selling car in its segment since it was released back in 2008. A little bit of trivia for you there. So yeah, I think that's why the Mondeo doesn't do so well. Maybe the Mondeo man image hasn't helped the car that much. But yeah, I was very pleased and surprised by how well this car did, how well the video did. And for what it's worth, on my Kuga, the title of the video was Ford Kuga ST line, so quite specific. Not only have I put the make and the model, I've also put the trim level in there as well, so very specific. However, on the Mondeo, I've just simply put Ford Mondeo review, not ST line, because this was an ST line as well. I think the reason why I didn't put ST line was because I thought not many would want to go for this trim level. So maybe if I'd put Ford Mondeo ST line review, it may have done it a little bit better, who knows. But yeah, that has been a very popular video. Lots of comments on there, which is good. And pretty good engagement, which is what I like to see. Yeah. So let's go on to the next one, and my last one. And this, for me, is definitely the most surprising video that I've made, because when I filmed it, the car had been out for quite some time. I thought the initial buzz of the car was dead, and I just didn't think it was going to prove to be a very popular car. But I was grossly mistaken, and that car is the Hyundai Kona Electric. So if I just bring that up, and unlike the other videos that I've spoken about, which have been relatively slow burners, this one kind of exploded from the get-go, which was very surprising to say the least. So here we go. Hyundai Kona Electric first drive. Here we go. So this was filmed in October 2018, and I went to a Hyundai media drive day, and they had a selection of their cars there. On that day, I drove the i30 Fastback, not the i30N Fastback, just the standard one. I drove the Kona Electric, of course. And what else did I drive? I drove the Tuscan? No, not Tuscan. Tucson, whatever it's called. I can never pronounce it right. No, Tucson. Tucson, I think. The SUV one. Sorry, very vague, but doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of the context of what I'm talking about. So I actually had this car, if I had to hazard a guess, about 10 or 15 minutes. This was, from memory, this was towards the end of the day. I had planned to drive this car, but the whole thing was a little bit rushed. So I didn't actually get to spend that much time with it. I drove it for about 10 minutes. Yeah, I must have had the car for about 15, maybe 20 minutes. But in regard to driving time, I only drove it for about 10 minutes. And it is a little bit difficult to get a true representation of how the car is. Of course, you can have some initial thoughts, but it's never going to be a thorough video, which is why I mark these kind of videos as a first drive video and not a review as such, because I don't think it's going to be quite as thorough as some people may want to see in a review, just looking at how long I've been speaking. So yeah, this video has done 64,309 views, and to be honest, a lot of those views came very quickly. So I think this video has definitely plateaued over time. I think quite a few people who watched this were actually based in the United States. I think over there they did have, I don't know whether they still do, but well, I think actually globally there was quite a long waiting list for this car. I've not actually seen that many on UK roads, come to think of it. I do have an admission on this video. To be honest with you, because I didn't think it would get that many views, I wouldn't say the edit was half-hearted, but I'm not afraid to admit that the edit was rushed a little bit, and that I probably should have spent a bit more time on it. And I think there's a lesson to be had there, is that you never quite know which parts of your work are going to prove to be popular. So try and put 100% in all the time where possible. Did I put 100% into editing this video? Honestly, no. I've got no problem with admitting that, because I'll be honest, I didn't think it would do this well. And the other challenge I had when I edited the video was the lack of footage I had to work with, because like I say, I only had the car for a short amount of time. Is that an excuse? It's half an excuse. But yeah, if I were to go back in time, I would put a little bit more effort into this video. It's not a bad video. If it was a bad video, I wouldn't have uploaded it. But is it as good as it could have been? No. And that's a rare thing for me to kind of what's the word? Do something half-hearted. I can't. There's a particular word I was cop out. I think that's the word I was looking for. It's very rare that I kind of cop out on a video, but yeah, I'm not afraid to say on this video that I did. Just quickly, I just want to see the demographics, because I do think quite a large chunk of the audience were from the States. Yeah, so yeah, the highest percentage of viewers were based in the US, 18.6%. And then it was the UK, Canada, India, interestingly, is next, and then Australia. The analytics on YouTube is a very, very effective tool if you use it correctly, of course. There was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, the engagement on this video was very good as well. I had 156 comments, which is a lot. It's probably one of my most commented videos on my channel. Let's pause that. So yeah, there we have it. Been speaking for 22 minutes now, although it feels like I've only been speaking for 5 minutes, I must admit, but I will start to wrap things up. So there we have it. So Ford Kuga ST line review, Ford Mondeo review, and of course, last but certainly not least, the Hyundai Kona electric first drive video. So yeah, sometimes you make something and it does really well. Life is unpredictable, as this current situation highlights. You never quite know what's going to happen next. So yeah, I do hope you have enjoyed that video. Just a quick one, I haven't forgotten about the Q&A with Patsy. That will be the next Vlogdown video. So that will be live next Friday. So in the meantime, if you have any questions you would like to ask Patsy specifically, not me, Patsy, please do send them through. I've got a good amount of questions through, but there's no harm in getting a few more. But yeah, it's time for me to wrap up. I think I've been speaking for quite a long time. My mouth is getting quite dry and I'm quite parched. So thank you so much for watching that video. I do hope you have enjoyed it. As always, if you have any topics you would like me to speak about in Vlogdown, please do get in touch. And of course, like, subscribe, comment if you want to, all that jazz. If you are subscribed, fantastic. But can you please click that bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But of course, until the next time, guys, keep up the car obsession.